Welcome, everyone, to the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft and brought to you by GK Pro. I'm Sarah Hokum here with Madison Walker to bring you the second feature card featuring Catrina Allen, Paige Pierce, Sarah Gilpin, and Hailey King.
It's awesome to see Sarah Gilpin. She won the Disc Golf Pro Tour fan vote. She's a local to Iowa, so to the area, and it's really cool to see her featured.
Also having the number 1 and 2 in the Pro Tour points, Catrina Allen and Paige Pierce.
And up and coming Hailey King, a really awesome one to watch. She's young and she kills it. So starting with hole 1, we're out at Sunset Park in Sunset Golf Course in Pekin, Illinois. Hole 1's a par 4, starting out with a big rip off the tee. You follow down that green. You want to stay out to the right and not go left over the sidewalk. There's some out of bounds to the left side. You'll see Catrina doing just that. The approach is kind of a blind approach to the basket. It's downhill, but you have to go up and over the hill that the sidewalk is on.
Kat throwing a hyzer flip with her D2 out to the right side, putting herself in good position with about 150 feet to the pin.
The higher up you can get on the hill, the closer to the sidewalk, the better, but you don't want to cut it too close, like I said, because if you skip off that sidewalk, there is out of bounds in the tree line on the left.
Paige, with the distance to get really close to this pin, popping off her Ballista Pro, nice and close to that left side, which actually makes that approach far more simple.
Yeah, she'll be able to see the basket where a lot of women after their shots will not be able to see the basket. It's on a super sloping green going towards the water. They trimmed the bushes up a lot this year, so it is definitely a little bit of a scary shot because if you overthrow it, you are 100% going to go in the water.
Sarah Gilpin putting a nice shot out there in the fairway. And Hailey King throwing the Kong off the tee. Gilpin up first on the approach. Throwing a fairway driver, nice hyzer. This is a tricky green to land it right next to the pin. She might have rolled in the water there.
It's so open, it makes it so scary. You almost try to put it a little bit short and let it slide down the hill more than play this aggressively. You can see Catrina doing just that, skipping off the top of the hill. She'll still be outside circle 1 with a definite death putt.
That's one that you're going to have to make a decision to lay up or not, that's for sure.
Hailey with the sidearm approach. Guessing that's a zone.
Tough to stick it. Leaving herself a putt, but, you know, Hailey's known for a smooth putt, so she's definitely got that in her game. Kat says, I don't want any of this. In fact, this layup is kind of tough.
Yeah, I actually practiced this layup in practice because it is so steep.
As did I.
Huge uphill putt from Sarah Gilpin.
Canning it. She was inbounds.
Was that outside the circle?
It's close. She didn't jump it, so it's possible it's just at the edge. Paige with a similar putt.
This is for her 3.
Those first putts are always a little testy. And Hailey here with a side hill putt. Little awkward stance with that log behind her. Another cage.
Donk.
Easy to happen on the first hole.
Oh, yeah. I think first hole jitters are very real.
Gilpin grabbing a stroke on the field there. Not a ton of birdies on this hole today.
Only 3 out of the huge women's field that we have this week of, I believe, 45, unless we had a
44.
44 women. So only 3 birdies. That says a lot about how difficult that approach shot is. Moving on to hole 2. This is the first par 3 of the round. There is an OB sidewalk all the way down the left-hand side. There is no OB to really contend with on the right, but you can easily overthrow. There is a sidewalk deep. The play here is a hyzer. It was a kind of a ripping wind here. It was a little bit nervy. You'll see Sarah doing just that. You want to throw something overstable and let it just finish towards the pin.
She's throwing her star strike for a bit of extra distance there.
Lands just outside circle 1. There's a forehand play as well down the sidewalk. It's a little scarier, but it is definitely an option.
Cat with her H1 V2, the big hyzer, gets a little bit of a reverse roll here, which can kind of be, it actually can roll even, there is an OB on the far right side, but she leaves herself outside the circle. Probably going to lay that up and walk away with her par.
Paige keeps it a lot lower and more linear than you want, and she'll be flirting with that out of bounds deep. She'll be safe just outside the circle.
Hailey going predator. She's got the distance to throw the overstable fairway here on a big hyzer. Inside the circle.
Nice.
Nice little 25-footer. Paige, a little blocked by that tree, having to spread way out. Tough putt. Another cage. Cat also blocked. Those trees are really wreaking havoc on this card.
Ooh.
Pretty.
She's so good at those little patent pending.
Gilpin to go 2 down. Chain left. Stays close, though, for an easy comebacker. And Hailey for our only birdie opportunity here. Solid.
Nice.
She's got such a smooth putt. Smooth everything, actually.
Yeah. Smooth everything. Sidearm backhand. Surprising not to see more birdies on this hole from the feature card. There were about 60% of the field with pars, so there weren't as many birdies as you would think on this short hole, but it is early and it is only hole 2, so I think we'll see the women's field picking up the pace as we go on. Moving on to hole 3, this is, I think, one of the more challenging holes on the course. You're uphill, you're throwing downhill at a low ceiling, but you want your disc to carry as far as you can, ideally next to these trees on the left. The approach is really tough. The basket's in between 3 out-of-bounds bunkers with a hill on the right that rolls towards an out-of-bounds sidewalk as well. So the idea off the tee is just to get as far down there as you can without flirting with those branches high.
Hailey choosing the vulture with a slight turn and puts herself just outside the circle.
That was a great drive. Turned over a little more than she wanted, but it worked out.
Sarah Gilpin going with a sidearm. Tough to get it under those branches. But, you know, she's safe for a little bit difficult up and down with that green scattered with those sand traps.
Yeah, the farther away you are, the more nervy it is. Cat putting it way out left.
Cat throwing a mid here. She's not going for this hole.
That's a smart play. I didn't see a lot of people do that, and I think that is an interesting play. Take the trees out of the equation.
Paige with a convict and a misfire.
Throws it on the ground. Gets some good skips up there, though, and she'll still have, I think she'll still have an approach. Sarah going for it, even being further back than you want to be. Oh, I don't know. Was that a go or was that a layup?
I think she was trying to get it around, just trying to get to that big spot up on the left side of the green, which is the safer landing area, outside of the deep area. Paige leaving herself short. Also, probably not happy with that run. Cat with a nice look. You can see that the fairway is nice and large from her perspective here, so that's likely why she's playing that out to the left.
It's opened up from over there.
Not going for the hole, even though she certainly has the distance to get there. Gilpin for par. I assume she's laying this up. Great placement there.
It's only about a 15-foot landing zone between those two bunkers. It is very tight.
Hailey with her CT Challenger. Right outside the circle. Big putt.
Huge putt.
Oh, there's a
uphill.
replay there. Love it.
And Hailey King with the only birdie on the field.
A motionless birdie for the record.
That's impressive.
Paige makes a nice putt also to save her par. She left herself a 28-footer. And Cat tapping in the easy par.
With more than half the field getting a bogey or worse, a 2 is a huge move on hole 3.
And puts her in the lead here after 3 holes.
Oh, love the
2 for 3.
leaderboard preview, GK Pro. That's awesome.
Nice graphics.
Moving on to hole 4. This is a nervy little downhill short hole, 345 feet, but it plays a lot shorter than that with how monumentally downhill it is. The basket's tucked away under some branches on the left. There's an OB green and an OB bunker deep and right, and then of course that little lake you have to throw over. There's also an OB line going down the left-hand side that's along the tree line. You want to just throw something over stable and trust that it's going to crash back into those that tree line where the basket is hidden.
Hailey with the Buzz OS, her signature stamp on that one.
Inside the circle.
Kat throws the big hyzer. H1V2. Puts herself at circle's edge.
Paige with a putter? Is that what she's throwing?
Paige with the
She tickles some tree branches.
the suspect.
Oh, okay. Tickles
Yep.
some tree branches, goes out of bounds in the lake to the left.
Wanted that a little wider. Sarah Gilpin putting it right next to the pin.
Parked.
Showing how it's done with her FD.
You can see Paige swatting her face. There are some, I believe they're called buffalo gnats out here that are really bad. They kind of just like to hang out near all your face holes.
And they make huge welts in your body if they happen to bite you.
Huge cut from Catrina.
Yeah. I mean, 18.
Oh, wasn't it?
It looked really simple. So if it was a 20-footer, she made it look like a 12-footer. Hailey also with a 15, 20-footer. Easy peasy. Going 3 out of 4 here. She's on fire. I'm glad to see her making this nice run here. Gilpin also.
Yeah, easy too.
Trying to grab that bogey back from the last hole.
Paige taking the only bogey on the card as we move on.
Big thanks to all our sponsors here, D-Mart Pro Shop.
And moving on to hole 5, another short hole, another hole where you have to contend with water. There's water short and water to the left-hand side. The sidewalk that runs through the green is not out of bounds. There is an OB line really far over to the right that doesn't really come into play. It's a little short backhand mid-range turnover, a putter shot, or maybe a little sidearm.
Hailey going putter. Absolutely. With her roach.
Ooh.
On the edge, but it's there for a putt. And the way she's been putting, I think that's probably going in. Kat with her signature series PA1. Nice little flip up, puts it real close.
Sarah opting for the forehand. I like the play here. Have it finish right away from the water. Oh, gets a little turn on it.
Easy to do, but I do like the play. I would though, huh?
Yeah. I would too.
Paige with a Marshall. Putting it. Oh, Nestle. Oh, hits the pin.
No big deal.
We call those dots at daisy chains. Gilpin trying to recover here. Just putting it under the basket.
From where she last crossed.
And leaving herself a little putt, but that should be no problem.
Kind of a soft run. Hailey from just around circle's edge.
Doing Hailey things.
Boom.
4 for 5.
Wow, that's 2 slow-mos for Hailey King. Who is this person?
If you don't know about Hailey King,
you got a lot to learn.
Gilpin cleaning up the bogey. Solid. And Kat tapping in the bird. Grabbing herself another one. As will Paige here to get back to even. These first 6 holes, 6, 7 holes, man, there's so much opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Love this next one.
Me too. This is the only par 5 on the course. You start out a little bit high on the tee pad and you're throwing at this sort of hilly green. There's an OB sidewalk on the right-hand side. You want to finish somewhere in this area, and then you have to make a decision whether you want to go over this lake on your second shot or if you want to pitch up to where the white stake was and throw over on your third shot. It's a par 5, so even if you decide to do that, you're still running out of birdie, but I think we'll see some of these feature card ladies going for it on their second shot.
Definitely have the distance to do so. Hailey off with her force.
You really just want to try to get around this hill if you can, because if you land on it, it makes for a little bit of awkward footing, depending on what you're planning on doing with your second shot.
Kat going with her D2. Hyzer flip, doesn't flip all the way. She probably wanted a little more out of that. But, again, she's really can lay up there, still have the opportunity for the birdie.
Paige is probably going for max distance here.
Defender.
Trying to set herself up.
I would say that's
eagle.
My max distance. In my dreams, perhaps.
The wind was a little swirly out here today. It was kind of coming from all angles. You couldn't quite tell where it was. There's not a lot of flags out here to read, so you kind of just have to look at the trees and hope that you are reading it correctly. It made for a little bit of nervy driving.
Gilpin trying to lay up nice and close. Looks like she gets a little too far there. On it, FD in the drink. Ooh, that hurts. And looks like we've got Hailey's putt for her.
We might have missed the middle couple of shots for Hailey and Sarah. Looks like Sarah's putting for par. She must have made it across on her second shot.
Kat, I'm assuming putting for birdie.
With a successful approach to the green from over the water.
And Paige also for birdie.
I believe Paige actually got an eagle, the only eagle
for birdie
on the day.
Hailey, even though she missed that putt, she also had made it across on her second shot, giving her that eagle look, which she just missed, but the nice, easy birdie tap in.
Yep, no problem. I would not hate that. Hole 7. This is an uphill par 3. It's 288 feet, but it plays a lot closer to 300, 310, 320. You want to throw a turnover, although Paige is somehow finding the hyzer line.
There is a low hyzer line, but it looks like that tree caught her.
It requires a lot of power to power that hyzer that low off the ground and get it to go uphill. There's OB bunker on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. If you really get wild. Hailey's going to go with a sidearm uphill, very powerful.
Throwing the force there.
Wow.
And gives herself an inside the circle look about 20 feet.
That is an impressive sidearm.
It's awesome to see her having not only the distance she has backhand, but also that solid sidearm.
Catrina going for the low hyzer as well.
X1, but for her, that's a lot of stability.
That's a lot of power.
Can handle that low shot underneath and still skip up there.
Sarah going for the flex route. She flexes around that low tree branch and gets it up there inside the circle as well.
I'm surprised Paige doesn't throw a fairway here.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing her mid. I mean, I guess when you throw as far as she does, maybe.
It seems like when it's low ceiling, though, you want to disc up just a little bit.
I wonder if she'll change her plan tomorrow. Ooh, Gilpin with a solid run off the top band. With confidence. Hailey to go 6 for 7. Oh. Wow. That was a surprising miss. Kat for birdie.
The only birdie on this hole on the feature card.
They're getting way under par. This is amazing to see. I love watching the ladies just score and make some great putts and great shots on courses like Sunset. There's a lot of scoreable opportunities out here for the majority of the field.
It's super attackable. There's birdies to be had on almost every hole.
So we're going to see some tight races here.
They're not easy, but they are there.
And I bet there's 5 or 6, maybe even 8 women that could win this tournament.
100%. Here's Hailey King pre-haircut. Yes, that is the same girl. Ripping buttery smooth drives at the Memorial.
Discraft Phenom here by our presenting sponsor. Thank you, Discraft, for everything you do for disc golf.
And moving on to hole 8, kind of rounding out the front 9. This par 4 is one of my favorite holes on the course. You can either play straight, like the camera is flying right here, and you'll land in this area with about 320 feet, and then throw over this lake to the elevated pin on a little stump with the OB sidewalk deep. Or I think we might see some of these feature card women using the hyzer route to the right of those big trees. You'll see Catrina do just that.
Cat going X1, looking for the stability to skip back into the fairway rather than playing it out to the right. I like that left side because I wanted that sidearm approach, but with a backhand, if you throw way right, then you have a really open look with the backhand hyzer.
Catrina still kind of finishes out to the left side of the fairway, even using the hyzer, which is not a bad place to be, like Hokum just said. Paige doing the same thing, kind of throwing at the trees and hoping it almost looked like, and it worked out.
With that gatekeeper, she's getting a little bit straighter flight. Hailey going with her Kong. Slight flex. Also trying to get back into that center. I wonder if they know that that right side is really open.
I don't know. I would have expected more of them would take the early right side hyzer gap. But Hailey gets tangled up in the trees. Hopefully still has a line to the basket. Sarah opts for the flex line. That's what she's good at, and you'll see her working that all day.
She's throwing the gold line bolt there.
That left side OB is so scary. If you get a little bit of skip, it almost kind of tilts down towards that side too. So it's impressive to see Sarah throwing that flex line. That's tough. You really have to trust your disc.
Hailey with a Predator for her sidearm through this little gap, little high, catches a little shrubbery, and it looks like it's wet.
She'll be taking it from the back side of the pond. You can see there's an OB flag line that continues up the hill on the other side of the pond.
Gilpin with a zone for an approach. Great approach disc, just a little short. It's
Maybe
a tough
it
one
crosses
because
over.
maybe. We'll see if they give that to her. I mean, it's nice to be close to the basket here, but it's also not so nice to be in the water.
Yep.
It's a tough choice.
You want to opt for the depth, I would say.
That's what I did, but I also didn't have a putt. So
Catrina flirting.
Katrina's like, I'm going to take that risk, and it worked out.
Hailey looking to putt from the opposite side of the lake. Gives it a soft run.
Ooh, Lisa Tester. On that elevated back, that's pretty severely elevated with a slope towards the basket. Basically, if you miss it from the opposite side of the water, you're likely in the water.
100%.
Sarah, that's a nice and confident putt.
Yeah, banging it.
Saving the par.
Hailey looking to save her par this is for bogey.
Yes. Another cage. That's 2 in a row.
That's a bummer.
She'll find her stride.
She's got a bunch of birdies to make up for her. That's
Paige
for
for birdie. Solid putt.
Only 18% of the field with birdies out here, so it is a good one to get. I really like this hole. It's a new one from previous years. Different design. They usually have it as a long par 3 with the basket just before this little pond. I think it was a great change. There's birdies to be had, and it's a difficult par 4 as well.
Yeah, I do like this change as well. And that means Cat takes the lead here.
Moving on to hole 9. This is a short uphill 300-foot par 3. It plays a tiny bit longer with the hill. The only out of bounds is the barn on the right-hand side if you land on the roof. Believe it or not, it does come into play. I watched that happen today. You kind of just want to crash into those willows, and hopefully you get over those 2 bushes if you're looking for the hyzer route. There is a nice sidearm route as well that's wide open.
Cat with the H1 V2, trying to play that slight hyzer that skips up the hill, leaving herself a putt. Paige going sidearm. She's been really throwing the sidearm really well. with her biodefender.
Except for this time.
I mean,
oh, wow.
You know, it was a hovercraft there.
I didn't realize it got so much skips.
I mean, she went past the basket, actually.
Yeah. Circle 2, right?
Yeah. Oops, okay.
Oops, okay. Oops, it worked. It's muddy right there, too. That's an impressive skip job.
Absolutely.
Sarah putting it right inside the circle.
Sarah with the gold line bolt. I'm surprised she doesn't throw her sidearm here. When I first met Sarah, actually, several years ago in Iowa, she was throwing almost all sidearms.
That's how I remember it as well.
And now she's like choosing backhand on a hole that I would consider sidearm friendly.
I'm surprised Hailey doesn't go with the sidearm
I
here,
agree.
too.
Maybe that low ceiling off the tee is messing with them.
It's kind of a flex sidearm, too. You
And there is actually
over.
there is actually OB on that left side up by that next tee sign.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, we found that out today.
I wish I
so
wouldn't know
FYI
that.
tomorrow. Hailey from about 50.
Paige had a huge putt run, hit the band.
And no problem. Third slow-mo.
Let someone else have slow-mos.
Come on, Hailey, just showing off
You
now.
can't hog it all.
Oh, there was some emotion. Did you see that?
No.
There was. She kind of did like a half fist pump. And Gilpin for birdie from the edge of the circle. Oh, ooh.
Catches the band.
It's a little bit downhill there. Leaving herself with a tiny little putt. And Cat from about 20. To go 6 down.
Almost
Uncharacteristic.
right side.
Her putt's been looking so good.
Surprisingly, only 4 twos out of the 44-woman field on this hole. Very surprising.
I think that's going to change over the course of the weekend.
I think so as well.
A lot of ladies are going to dial in some of this stuff. We're going to see even better scores over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. There was like I said, the wind was a little crazy today. It made for some interesting driving. It wasn't at all like our practice rounds that have been dead calm and sunny and beautiful.
Cat cleaning up the par. A little high, but in the bucket.
And wrapping up the front 9 of the Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. And thank you to GK Pro for the women's coverage.
And the PDGA, Udisc, and Discraft for sponsoring the DGPT event here in Pekin, Illinois. The Sunset Hills join us for the back 9 to see how these ladies shape up through the stretch.
Yep, maybe we'll watch Hailey get some more slow-mos.
I think so. I can imagine.